Oh, really? Yeah, that'd be the one to use. Did you? I think I was
Best thing
looking
about
at it,
that
like, I know
seat
there
is
should
you
be here,
don't
but
have to put your face.
so I was thinking it should have been there.
What do you mean?
Well, in case you have any kind of expression in your face, it's less visible there than if you're sitting there, if you're sitting here, if you're sitting there.
I think because I'm right-handed, I like that side. It didn't help.
Dorlin,
I'll check. I know Doug or Dora.
Can nobody hear me over here?
That's what you have a microphone for. Just yell at it.
No, I don't want to yell at her. I don't have that paper. So I guess I didn't write my thing down. No, it's on here. Is it on here?
Your donation thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's on there. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. I would like to call to order our organizational meeting, our first meeting in January. If you'd all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we have 4 elected board members that will be needing the oath of office. Stacy, Doug, myself, and welcome, Eric Ivory.
Sir.
All right. If each of you would stand.
You have a Bible?
I'm sorry?
Don't
You have
do
a
that,
Bible
though.
and put our hands
No,
on
we
it?
do not. You just need to complete the oath, Mr. Weaver, and repeat the following oath after me. And then Dora has some documents for you to sign later this evening. I, the undersigned,
I,
I, the undersigned,
Troy Scott,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the laws of the United States and the State of Indiana.
and the laws of the United States and the State of Indiana.
I will faithfully execute the duties of my office as a member of this governing body, so help me God.
Faithfully execute the duties of my office as a member of this governing body, so help me God.
You all did a marvelous job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Now we're official.
And we're official.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next, we'll have the election of the president, vice president, and secretary for 2025. Do I have a motion for the slate of officers?
I make a motion that we keep the same officers.
Actually, it would be replacing the current
Oh.
officers. The current officers was Ann Vondervellen was secretary. Kelly will be stepping up into that position. So,
So do I need to repeat it?
yes, please.
Okay. I make a motion that we keep the same president and vice president, and Kelly Mullins will move into the secretary position.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Slate of officers as stated. Next, we have the conflict of interest forms. I believe there are 3 of us. Daisy, Doug, and myself take advantage of the benefits. So we'll be signing those under the conflict of interest.
Do we need to go through each one individual, Mr. Thorne, or not?
I think it would be, probably from the standpoint of the record, it would be appropriate for each of these to at least disclose that conflict of interest on the record.
Okay, I, would vote on benefits, obviously, and stuff like that, and on occasion, my wife is also an employee here.
I have the benefits.
And I as well have some of the employee benefits.
Thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
Next, we have the resolution of the Board of School Trustees.
I was assuming Mr. Quiet was going to do it, so I'll do it. All right. You'll bear with me for a moment so I can get to that right page. There is a proposed resolution for the Board of School Trustees that will establish a number of different rates. And I'm trying to get to it as expeditiously as possible.
Thank you.
Yes. Yep. Think Mr. Quiet is looking out for
I
me.
can present on that. I was planning to.
Oh, he was planning to do. So I will yield the podium to Mr. Quiet.
You want to take your.
And
Thank you,
take
Mr.
my
Thorne.
materials back.
Thank you, President Scott, School Board of Trustees, and Dr. Huff. The 2025 January resolution accomplishes a few things. It appoints myself. We would ask that I appoint myself as the treasurer of the school district of Elkhart Community Schools, Erica Purvis, our controller, as the deputy treasurer of Elkhart Community Schools. It also sets the copying fee. It names this board of finance officers the same as the officers of the school board. We would make our cash management provider for 2025 Lake City Bank, which we would continue that relationship. Appointing Barnes and Thornburg as legal counsel for financial matters. It establishes our publications of the Elkhart Truth and the Goshen News for any legal publications, as well as the mileage rate and bond amounts for treasurers and other individuals that handle money within the corporation. So I would ask that the board approve the January 2025 resolution.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Resolution passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Quiet. At this time, I will adjourn our organizational meeting and open up our regularly scheduled, no,
Board of Finance.
and I will now call to order our Board of Finance annual meeting. And Mr. Quiet, adoption of resolution.
Thank you, which we just adopted. So thank you for adopting that resolution. Additionally, the state requires statutorily every year that we present our investments as well as the DUAB fiscal indicators report in a public meeting to the board. And so for the investment history report, Elkhart Community Schools has no funds that would qualify as an investment. We do have agreements with Lake City Bank and US Bank for some sweep accounts and some additional interest earned on holdings, but there are no traditional investment vehicles that Elkhart Community Schools has invested in. The DUAB fiscal indicators, I would encourage the public. This is a wonderful resource, I think. You can look at all schools, and it kind of has about 8 indicators, I believe, that talk about the fiscal stability or try to point towards some primary indicators of fiscal stability. As noted in the board notes, Elkhart Community Schools has seen a decrease in enrollment over the last almost 10 years. And we are starting to see a dip in our cash balance. As you can see, if you look at the annual deficit surplus, You'll notice that it was, we increased from 2019 to 2022. In 2023, we saw a slight dip, and we will likely see another in 2024. And so as we look ahead, it's imperative that we make some strategic changes in how we manage those finances so that we can reverse that trend. But we have been put in a very good place with increasing that cash balance over the last 4 years. So we have a bit of a runway there. I think we've talked a lot about this in the past as well. So, and that's kind of noted. You can see that in the DUAB report. That is my comments on that DUAB report. If there's any questions or comments, I'm happy to answer that. If not, that completes the board.
Well,
yeah.
Could you give a little more detail where the DUAB report can be found for the public? Because I think there is a wealth of information there, and it's a nice report to see as an indicator not only of our fiscal health but other schools.
Yes, absolutely. So DUAB was formed after kind of the Muncie and Gary state takeovers. They realized that there's some schools making probably some not so great financial decisions and mismanagement. And so the intent was to put a board together and identify some indicators that would allow this group to just monitor kind of the progress. And so these are, enrollment is the primary driver of revenues. Your cash balance obviously is your solvency and your stability. And so there's just some different measures there. And then now this board will reach out to schools and try to be proactive in providing support or making sure that they have a plan behind what they view as maybe some worrisome indicators. And so there's no hard and fast necessarily on what that is. It's typically a conversation, and it's to make sure that schools are remaining fiscally sound before the state has to step in. And so a great tool. And like you said, you can go and look at all school districts and kind of get a feel. I think no two school districts are the same. They have different taxing units and very different situations. So it's a great resource.
Good, thank you.
Absolutely.
May I add, we put a copy of it in our public packet as well, correct?
I believe so.
I'm still putting you on the spot. I know that we did that.
Yes. Okay.
So if you want to look at our public packet, you can see how some of our financial information over the past few years, if you want to look at those DUAB reports and or indicators as well.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Seeing or hearing none, I will now adjourn our Board of Finance annual meeting. Now I will call to order our regular board meeting scheduled for January 14th, 2025. And I will read the Elkhart Promise. Every student is known by name, challenged, and supported by highly effective staff, and in partnership with the community will graduate career and college ready and life ready. Invitation to speak protocol. Seen a lot of familiar faces here from 2024. Nothing has changed for 2025. You will have 3 minutes. Please approach the podium and use the microphone. Announce your relationship to Elkhart Community Schools. Each one of you should have received one of these on your seats. There's a section here to fill out for your name to give to Dora if you'd like to speak. And as always, please keep all personnel or student issues with students. This is not the appropriate venue for those types of issues that address people specifically. And with that said, Dora. Thank you. Mr. Miller.
Hello. Jeff Miller, parent, resident, employee. I'm going to try to go fast and respect your time limit. I'm here tonight to speak on behalf of my 2 children and their classmates, most specifically our freshman students. 5 years ago, we merged into one Elkhart High School, and we have yet to actually create an atmosphere that successfully promotes this idea across campuses. During the first SSAC meeting this school year in September, the freshmen in that group, which includes my daughter, expressed to Dr. Huff how they do not feel we are one school and they continue to feel, quote, left out and excluded. My son is currently a senior, and this is the same exact sentiment he expressed when he was a freshman. There are a litany of reasons for this, but a main one they mentioned is that when they walk around the freshman division on a daily basis, they still see an inordinate amount of Elkhart Central signage, logos, pictures, dilapidated carpet on the walls, tile that's older than me. These students took it upon themselves to say they wanted to do something about this if nobody else was going to. So they spoke to their principal, they spoke to their superintendent. They got permission to repurpose the walls and the stairwells at the freshman division to reflect Elkhart High School Lions instead of Elkhart Central Blue Blazers. They spent 7 days and 37 total hours over winter break, washing, priming, decorating walls with Elkhart Lions logos and colors. They've even ordered some professional vinyl decals to go on a few of the areas to ensure that it does look very good. Instead of people being proud that these kids are taking ownership of their school and undertaking a service project important to them, it's been met with some resistance and complaints from adults in several areas. My response is simply this: if adults are upset, then maybe they should have done their jobs and finished this project for our students sometime in the last 5 years, or 1,825 days, which is actually just short, if you can believe it, of the 1,872 days since the last time Ohio State beat Michigan in football.
I knew what that number.
These kids have been told that this isn't their job. We ran out of money, etc. I find that laughable as we embark on a middle school project estimated at $21 million per tonight's packet. And the cost of redoing these stairwell walls has added up to a whopping $500, which is all in: rollers, brushes, drop cloths, primer, paint, vinyl. This is a student-led project that deserves the appreciation and commendation of our community for these young people. And I would argue that these are the exact students we want to be developing in our schools, ones who are focused on solutions and leading their peers. Kudos to them for making choices and deciding to take action rather than sitting back and simply complaining. Additionally, those adults who are worried about preserving history should maybe speak to the kids and ask them what their designs are, as one of their ideas pays homage to all the mascots Elkhart High Schools have had through the years. So please build up our young people instead of crushing their spirit. And again, if this project would have been finished in the last 5 years, I wouldn't be talking about paint, tile, and 50-year-old carpet on the walls. Separate note, it's puzzling that a district that currently lists 133 job openings on its website still has not figured out employee appreciation and recognition, or lack thereof, may be part of our problem with retention. We still only award people for consecutive years of service. So an employee who works at the district for 9 years, takes a year off to stay home with a child, then returns to work, has to go another 10 years to get recognized for 10 years of service. So that's 19 years in order to get recognized for 10. Seems backwards to me. It has been brought up by multiple people more than once to HR in the previous several years. So I would just ask you to revisit that. And I will end with some positive vibes, since I do love this school system, love the city, this community. I'll leave you with the same remark I give to people every day, and that's the signature line in my emails. It's a great day to be a Lion.
Thank you. Angela Whitlow.
Angela Whitlow. I am a parent and I have a senior here. Good evening. Tonight, I would like to speak on the lies and cover-up of a school board member resigning. Sunday, I saw the official posting of Jeff Blyler's open seat. He stated he was resigning on December 10th. To my surprise, I did not find the posting of Daisy Davis's seat. She stated she was resigning at the August 27th meeting, which would be in effect on December 31st, whether she wins the election or not. I called the school on Monday and was told she never resigned. When I questioned her saying she was resigning, I was informed that even though she verbally stated that she was resigning, she failed to file her paperwork with the clerk's office. I spoke to Chris Anderson at the clerk's office. He confirmed she did not file paperwork but had called to ask about the process, and it was explained to her in great detail. One concern I have is the outright deceitful behavior that went on from the end of August through September, October, November, and December. On December 17th, the board members said their official thanks and goodbyes to Jeff, Daisy, and Ann. What games are being played here? I asked that because it looks like Mrs. Davis can't make up her mind for whatever reason, and the district is covering up for her. I say that because the live board meetings on August 27th and December 17th have been removed from the Elkhart Community Schools Facebook page. All other meetings from July 23rd through December 10th are still posted. Coincidence? Maybe, but it does not look good for the district. Those two meeting dates are when all of this happened. The other concern is, how is she supposed to be trusted if she isn't able to follow through with her own public resigning? How are we to trust that she is following through with her duties as a board member? I understand that circumstances can change, but typically when any board member states they're resigning, it's because they feel they can't give 100% to the work that needs to be done. I'm in no way stating that Ms. Davis is incapable of doing the job. She's done it clearly for the last 4 years, and she's done it well. It's now about the trust that has been lost, the worry that 100% commitment can't be given, and the possible cover-up the district has done. One solution I spoke with Doug Thorne and Chris Anderson about is that if Ms. Davis actually followed through with her resigning, could she reapply through the application process? Although unorthodox and more work for the school board, it is an option. This would give opportunity for her and others to apply for the chair that should be vacant due to Ms. Davis's actions. I would also ask that if she decides to stay, a public and written apology be provided to the community for her deception. Also, moving forward, I don't believe she should have the opportunity to be a spokesperson for the district during the next 4 years. As an example, she was a spokesperson for the last referendum, which means providing information to the public. If she can't follow through with her own words, she can't be trusted to provide accurate information to our community. I'm sure Mrs. Davis will probably make a public comment at the end of this meeting, and I look forward to hearing what she has to say. Thank you.
Great. We have no more public comments. So, Aaron, Excellence of Elkhart.
All right, good evening. Thank you, President Scott, Dr. Huff, community members. The holidays are over and school is back in the swing of things. And the new semester has started, so I want to share some of the excellent highlights that we have. Students and families attended Daly's Family Literacy Night, and they got to explore engaging activities like shaving cream spelling, which is the picture on the right, Winter Wonderland vocabulary, and sight word showdowns. The night also featured a collaboration with Elkhart High School, as the high school principals of teaching class created 50 matching games for the students as well. Pierre Moran Middle School students from the Bring Change to Mind program have been selected for the Regional Advocacy Board, earning 6 of only 10 spots from the 40 middle schools throughout the entire state of Indiana. Bring Change to Mind empowers students to lead the fight against stigma and discrimination surrounding mental illness, and these warriors are making an incredible impact. We're so proud of them to be able to represent the majority of that group. There we go. By way of arts, 3 of our Elkhart High School students are part of the United Sound program, and they had the opportunity to perform with the U.S. Coast Guard Band to an audience of 3,000 people at the Midwest Clinic in Chicago. Elkhart was one of only 5 schools represented who were invited to bring their members of the United Sound chapter, and we're proud that they were representing the city of Elkhart. Congratulations to our outstanding students who have earned their officiating certificates through Elkhart High School's Officiating 101 program. This is a unique program, and it's a class that has been supported over the years by grants from the IHSAA, the Pacers, the Community Foundation of Elkhart County, and Elkhart Athletics. And our students prepare to become licensed officials with hands-on experience at our elementary competitions. Also, with their licenses, they're ready to start earning money and saving for college early. This next slide I created a while ago. So it's a sectional champion, but we have an update because she has gone beyond the sectional championship. Elkhart High School wrestler Lily Clark has made the school record books. She's the first Elkhart High School girls wrestling athlete to ever qualify for state, on the heels of also winning at regionals and winning at sectionals. So congratulations, Lily. We're excited to see what she does and break some more records. Many of our community members have enjoyed supporting our winter sports, and over the holidays, the Christmas break, the boys and the girls basketball teams both played hard and won their holiday tournaments. There are many games left in the season, so if you have not gone out, there are still many opportunities to come out and cheer on the Lions. Future happenings, we have the Band Festival, January 16th through the 18th. Circle the State Honor Choir, January 17th. Important to note, January 20th, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. All buildings will be closed. There will be no school. January 23rd is our food service showcase, inviting the community to be able to come and taste samples of the school lunches that we serve. February 1st, ISMA for piano and vocal. And new this year, February 1st, 25, 26 new and returning students. We will open registration for new and returning students. More information will be coming about that. So parents, watch Parent Square, and we will give more information on that. One additional one that it did not make it on there, but we learned about is the Elkhart Area Career Center. Their open house is January 27th from 1:30 to 3:30, and that is open to all of the students in the surrounding schools and community. As always, please follow along our social media and you can stay up to date with all of the new happenings. Thank you.
Aaron.
I'd like to do a quick follow-up. Thank you, Ms. Wagler. It's actually the 26th for our open house for you to come out and visit on EEAC. That's on a Sunday. So I want to make sure that's on the 26th. I think you said 27th. So Community 27th, we have over 400 vendors who will be there with our students. A very well-attended event. I look forward to seeing everybody there.
Thank you, Dr. Huff. Next on the agenda, I have the consent items. Do I have a motion? Second?
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. Any discussions or questions from the board?
Sure. So like as we have in the past, we'll take a moment. It'll be a little bit more unique moment of silence as we, kind of pause for a minute and think about North Carolina and California. And of course, the loss in both of those states. But one of the things that really caught my eye is really hearing the kids speak out about school. Like I can't go to school where, and you realize, like all of our administration, our staff, our teachers, how valuable it is for our children to be in school. But when you have that loss, it just, and they have no ends to even think where am I going to be? So of course we're taking like a moment of silence for the loss that has happened in lives there, but also just, what has just happened in humanity. But on the heel of that, we lost one of our own staff members, which she was new to our school district, Diane Deal. She was at Mary Daly a year. And, I was able to hear from, I didn't know her, but I was able to hear from two of her parents that had students in her classroom. And also a really great story from one of her peers inside of it. And that was an interesting one where they said that it was after hours. And these were things that Diane was always doing. She had such a love for her students. And this particular story, she had this like flatbed rollabout, and she was coming through the school at the end of the day after working all day long. And it was filled with just like Christmas gifts and books and different things that she was arranging to give all of her students before Christmas break. And her peers said that was constantly happening. She was constantly thinking about what she can do and how she could fill the needs for her children. But in particular, a young boy in her classroom who is an autistic child. And, they've struggled in different areas in the school. And his mother said this was the first time that she felt wholeheartedly that her son was completely in the right place with the right teacher. And then you think about the loss of that. But anyways, it was remarkable to have the opportunity to have her as our staff member and to hear about all the wonderful things that she did and the wonderful community member and mother to her daughter and wife. And, the stories about her and her community is just amazing. So as we just pause for a moment to think about how blessed we are that we're at this school board meeting and have that ability and, thinking of Diane's family. And it's always rough when like I transition from that to saying, hey, we're about to celebrate these donations, but with sadness, joy always brings a lot of happiness to each of us. And so as we move to something that's joyful, we have the opportunity to talk about yet again, our community partners donating a total of $31,280. And these partners just once again showed that, like Mr. Miller talked about, the community believes in Elkhart High School, Elkhart Community Schools thriving and growing as we transition through all of our changes. So thank you to Jack and Sue Hunsberger for the $250 donation that they gave to the PACE program. DoorDash did a $1,000 donation to our athletic departments. The Elkhart Athletic Department also did a $1,500 donation total, which is a ticket cost for students attending 2 separate basketball games. Dan's Body Shop, who has been donating for years to our community, donated $1,000 to the boys wrestling team. Also, his son was very, very active and is helping coach our wrestling team. So it's great to have all of that community involvement. An anonymous donor donated $19,000, $15,000 that will go to boys soccer, $4,000 that will go to girls cheer. Our Elkhart Area Career Center had another platinum level sponsorship, which is $5,000, and that's from Truck Centers Incorporated. Mr. and Mrs. Kane donated to the Pimaran Art Department a total of $750. AZ Apparels donated $1,842 in boys basketball uniforms. Gracie Stoll Communications, $438 for student tickets for the home basketball games to encourage our student body to grow in spirit. And then our Community Foundation of Elkhart County, on behalf of Michael Huddleston and the Huddleston family, donated $500 to the Elkhart Area Career Center for materials and supplies needed for E10 student learning. So at $31,280, we celebrate the joy of what our community has given us. So thank you again, Elkhart County, City, all people, Elkhart.
And that's only 2 weeks in. Just think what it'll be like in December. Amazing. I would also like to speak a little bit about in our consent decree right here, we have contracts. And there's, I think this goes unnoticed sometimes, but the Air Force has a partnership with Elkhart Community Schools. And I think there's probably about 180 kids in that program. And anyhow, some of the highlights of the program providing numerous benefits to the students and families, our school and community, leadership development, character building and discipline, academic and career opportunities, physical fitness and healthy living, community service and citizenship. And I really think that program, somewhat gets overlooked for the value that it provides to our students and stuff. So I just want, everybody to remember, when you see those young students in their blue uniforms out there, the service that they're putting in for our communities, and the representing not only the Air Force, but also Elkhart Community Schools. And thank you.
Any other comments?
Yep, actually, I do. Whoops, I almost missed that. Hold on. Let me go back to my notes. Give me 1 second. Where did I put that? Hold on. I almost forgot recognizing our retirees. So we have Michael Daring, who was a mechanic for us for over 16 years. He did some amazing things, built great partnerships, and helped develop the different areas that we needed in the service department. Very, very well respected. And you forget about how important a cafeteria specialist is. But at 17 years, Gertrude Williams served at Mary Beck. And our cafeteria specialists, like, are midday seeing what our children's needs are, especially at the elementary level. So it's a great loss when you lose somebody that's been here for 17 years. So I want to just thank Gertrude and Michael both for their service for Elkhart Community Schools.
Thank you, Kelly.
Well, you're welcome.
Anything else?
No.
All right. Do I have a motion? Already had a motion.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. You spoke so long, I forgot we had a motion.
Well, it's a long meeting, friend.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. New business. Mr. Quiet, the resolution for transfer of appropriations.
Thank you, President Scott, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Huff. Tonight I ask for the board's approval of the transfer of appropriations resolution as presented in the board packet. Be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any questions or comments from the board regarding this resolution? Seeing or hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. At this time, I will suspend the board meeting for a public hearing regarding the projects and additional appropriations related to the 2025 A, B, and C bonds. And I will now open up a public hearing regarding such.
Thank you, President Scott. As this hearing is in regards to the projects and additional appropriations regarding the 2025 A, B, and C bonds that will be used for renovations at all three of our middle schools as we transition our sixth grades into those buildings. As a note, these buildings have not seen significant improvements since '88, and so it'll be much needed improvements as we welcome these kiddos into this building next year. The proposal is for $6.6 million for the A, B, and C bond, totaling $19.8 million in projected revenues. This will not increase our overall tax rate for the school district. We will remain at 91.97 cents, which I think is important to remember as we embark on this, and will give us the capital necessary to complete this transition in the school district. The projects will include primarily classroom updates, corridors, lighting, lockers, and the such. So that's my comments on the projects and what the additional appropriations will be used for, and then we would need to open it to public comment if there is any.
We have any comment from the public regarding these bonds? Seeing or hearing none? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next, we have on the agenda, Mr. Quiet, we've got the 1028 hearing, and then the next resolution on the upgrades. That's not part of the 1028, is it?
It is part of it. So
Is
the
it?
hearing was a part of it. Now the resolution to approve moving forward with these projects and the additional appropriate, that you'll sign off on that as a board.
You have any additional comments on this resolution?
No.
All right, very good. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion and I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Quiet. I will now suspend the public hearing and reconvene the board meeting. Mr. Thorne.
Thank you, President Scott, members of the board, Dr. Huff. This evening, the administration seeks approval of a proposed resolution providing for a stipend in the sum of $2,000 to be paid to Elkhart Community Schools teachers tendering their notice of intention to retire at the end of the 2024-25 school term on or before February 1st, 2025.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Do I have any questions or concerns from board members regarding this resolution? Hearing or seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you,
Thanks,
Mr.
Doug.
Thorne. Dr. Roush, the 2025-2026 school calendar.
President Scott, Board of Trustees, Dr. Huff, the administration presents the proposed 2025-2026 school calendar for initial consideration.
You have any questions or comments from the board on the calendar? Is this for initial consideration?
Correct.
Okay. Yes. Our agenda headed for voting. Okay. Any questions regarding?
Are we reviewing this again, or are we, I mean, was
Yeah, this has been before us.
Yeah, it's already been brought before us. Are we ready to move forward with this, or did you guys need to do more consideration?
I don't think this calendar has been brought before you.
I thought it was corrected, like,
That was
what's
last, that was
Oh.
last year.
Okay, but is the asynchronous days, is that what's been like added, or what was changed? This one, has this one been brought before us?
No, this
No.
is the first.
This is the
Yeah,
first,
we just
okay,
finished
so-
the calendar committee. So yeah.
Okay,
So some of the
not a lot of changes.
Yeah.
The e-learning day in September was moved from Thursday to Monday. Another added day to lengthen the spring break. And then the last day of school just shifted one day.
Okay. Hold on a second.
Do you have any other questions? Thank you, Dr. Roush.
Thanks, Dr. Roach.
Mr. Thorne, board policy compensation.
Thank you, President Scott, members of the board, Dr. Huff. This evening, the administration seeks board approval to revise the following compensation plans by the expansion of the number of weeks of paid maternity leave days from 3 weeks to 6 weeks for a normal delivery and from 4 weeks to 8 weeks for a cesarean delivery. This would bring these compensation plans in line with the changes that were done to the teacher's master contract late last year when that contract was approved. And we are requesting a waiver of second reading. Mr. Scott, would you like me to read all of the policy numbers? I'm happy to if you'd like me to.
We have them here in front of us. Thank you. No need.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any questions regarding the policy changes in compensation? Hearing or seeing none? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Next, Mr. Thorne, we have board policy 7540.03, student technology acceptable use and safety.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. The administration is presenting for preliminary consideration proposed revisions to this policy governing the appropriate use by students of school technology resources. The proposed revisions primarily focus on the appropriate use of artificial intelligence and natural language processing tools by students for schoolwork, and also update some policy language as it relates to the general appropriate use of technology by our students, bringing this to unite for preliminary consideration.
Questions? Okay, we'll move on to board policy 7540.06.
Thank you. This is the staff use of technology policy, which the administration is again presenting for preliminary consideration. These proposed revisions to Elkhart Community Schools' current policy governing the appropriate use of technology by its employees, again, including the appropriate use by employees of artificial intelligence and natural language processing tools. Again, we bring this to you for preliminary consideration tonight.
Questions?
I do have one question. Are these policies from our typical policy provider?
They were drafted initially by Neola, who serves as our policy consultant, but also were revised based upon recommendations from Mr. Inman, our Director of Technology for the school district.
Questions? Have you already addressed 09 artificial intelligence?
Sure, that would be my last one for the evening. Board policy 7540.09 artificial intelligence. This is kind of the overriding policy that relates to appropriate use of technology and sets forth some expectations in terms of the generalized authority to utilize artificial intelligence when it's consistent with the school corporation's missions, goals, and operational integrity. The policy as presented also makes it clear that inappropriate use of technology may lead to disciplinary consequences. Again, like the other two policies, this is brought to you tonight for preliminary consideration.
Well, this policy does not set out consequences and how those consequences are determined.
Those consequences really would be determined on a case-by-case basis, obviously taking into consideration both the progressive discipline policy that's in place for school employees, as well as our progressive disciplinary policies for students. Some of that information is contained in the underlying policies addressing specific student use of technology and employee use of technology.
We're just having a conversation about this at the college level, and I guess they would take papers and put them into a software, and it'd be able to tell whether ChatGPT or artificial intelligence was used. The problem is, if you're a really good writer, it was also indicating AI when there was none. So that's why I asked the question.
When I think like we're like in a situation like that, I feel very strongly that the level of English teachers that we have already become acclimated to the way that some of our students can write. So they can discern between like the quality of their writing versus the tampering with AI. So like I give kudos to our high level, English teachers at that like collegiate like level to that degree that they can pick up on those tweaks really well. So like I feel I kind of had that question with some of them, and they were like, you can tell a high quality writer. And our English teachers, all of our teachers are top notch, but our English teachers at the level with knowing this AI, I'm pretty impressed with their knowledge already. Not to downplay it, but I think these kids are going to be surprised if they try to pull the wool over some of our English teachers' eyes.
I suspect some of them have already been.
I think they
surprised.
have already tried.
Already played. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Thorne.
Mr. Thorne.
Dr. Huff.
Thank you, President Scott, members of the board, community. Happy New Year to everyone. Nice to see everyone back. I have a couple of different things, enough that I actually had to write them all down. I do want to follow up with the AI proposal as well. One of the things too, we also have to be prepared to is also teach our kids very effectively how to utilize this software. There's no business sector, the fastest growing in the United States, all incorporate these type of technology. So teaching kids how to use it responsibly, I think is obviously the morally and the ethically thing to do here in the school district. So I would much rather them learn with our teachers who are very well versed to do these things. So I feel like this is setting our kids up for success, and our adults as well. So I'm just happy that we're adopting this policy here soon, hopefully, if the board chooses to. One of the things that also that when we highlight things in our district, excellent Elkhart, we talk about a lot of the things that we're doing. I want to focus on sometimes on the people that we have. We have so many excellent people here in Elkhart in front of our children. Sometimes I sit in meetings and just am amazed by just how many things that just get done by people in our school district without you even knowing. One of our hidden gems in our school district is Lindsay Walters, our elementary media specialist. She is fantastic. Had an opportunity to meet with her, just talking about all the initiatives that she's working on with Mrs. Cripe, the elementary principals, with reading challenges and working with the Elkhart Building Brains initiatives and so forth, having our young kids experience field trips at a very early level, not just to work on those very specific skills that they need, but also kids need experiential things too in order to navigate this world. And again, much rather those happen with our fantastic teachers here in Elkhart Community Schools. Also, probably is the most professional person you can probably ever be around. So I just want to say, Lindsay, hats off to you for being on our staff, but we really are better because you are here with us in the school district. I do want to take time also to say happy School Board Appreciation Month. The hard work that you do behind and in front of the scenes, it is tough. My first year has flown by as I've learned how to be a superintendent for the school district, and it wouldn't been able to, I think, had a successful year without the courageous conversation from our school board and without the guidance and your love and dedication and your skill sets that you bring. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for everything you've done for me in the school year, but also the things that you do for our community, our teachers, and our students. So I just want to wish you a well-deserved School Board Appreciation Month, and please know that you're appreciated from definitely this seat, but I definitely think a lot of seats too in our organization. Back to highlighting our students. Today, I had the pleasure of sitting down with an early admit to Notre Dame, an early admit to Purdue, an early admit to Texas A&M, an early admit to University of Chicago, and an early admit to Wabash University. And that student said, hey, I'm waiting to hear from Stanford to see if I get into their engineering program. another testament of the outstanding students that we produce here in Elkhart Community Schools. But I wasn't there to talk about where they were going to school. I was there to talk about what they wanted to leave behind here in Elkhart Community School. Next week, we have our board meeting. They want to talk to the board about a nonprofit that they have thought about called ECHO, which stands for Elkhart Community Schools. Hold on, make sure I get this correct. Oh my gosh, I didn't get it correct. I'll have to look it up. Elkhart Community Schools. It's about giving. They talked about the flyers in North Carolina. One had a personal, his grandmother, how he was here, and there were so many people who gave to his grandmother in Florida, and what things that he can do. Long story short, this is student driven. Mr. Dossman, who's at the business teacher at the high school, has been the adult sponsor for this initiative. But hearing Angie Mehta, who's we've seen here before, Brennan Whitcar, and Ben Miller, it was all student driven. And just hearing them talk about how they want to make sure that not just we provide resources for people who are without, but also giving kids an opportunity to learn what a nonprofit and how that works. They're leaving behind not just a great academic career here, but a legacy for kids to continue to learn how to navigate in this world. So before this meeting, I will say the actual name of the program, ECHO, is kind of cool. But again, our students think way more about how to contribute in our school district than I think sometimes that we give them credit for. And then I would be remiss if I did not talk about, we are in legislative session here in the state of Indiana. There are approximately over 1,000 bills that could be proposed this year. I really encourage our school community to pay attention to some of those bills that are going to come out. I plan to highlight and update on probably a weekly basis where we are with those bills, working with my communication team to share with you some of those bills and how they impact Elkhart Community Schools. And there are several. And so I want to just let you know that we'll be advocating very fiercely with our state legislators on making sure that we are always put in a good position here in Elkhart Community Schools, and that they know that we have a community that will not only rally around our school district, but we are also very aware. So again, this week I'll send out some bills that I think you should pay attention to. I'm pretty sure there's already some that you definitely know about, and the list is too long to go through in this session, in this seat, but I do want to let you know that Elkhart, myself, Mr. Thorne, and some other individuals will be down there making sure that our interests are definitely heard by our state legislators. So with that being said, again, those things don't happen in isolation, happens with all of us. So I appreciate all the support I received with our community, from our board, and from our staff members here. So with that, President Scott, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Huff. Very well said. Do I have anything from the board?
Yes, I would like to say something. I know some of you are pretty surprised, a little confused to see me here since I said I was going to resign. So I just want to share a little bit about my journey the last 5 months. I did try to take my name off the ballot. I was unsuccessful because I missed the deadline. I did announce my resignation, and most people did not accept it. I've been getting a lot of pressure to change my mind consistently since I announced that resignation. I did not campaign. I told everybody not to vote for me. I campaigned for another candidate. I didn't lose the race. So winning the election and then having another unexpected resignation on the board really made me pause to consider the impact of my decision. And clearly people are creating their own narrative. Some people are intentionally being malicious. Other people are just uninformed and just repeating bad information because they don't know. I know not everybody is going to like my decision because either they don't agree, they don't understand. But at the end of the day, it's important for me to make decisions that are aligned with my faith, that I can make a decision that I can live with, and that I can stand on even when people don't like it or when I'm faced with opposition. So I had to take a look at everything that happened over the last 5 months. Why is everything happening that's moving me away from the decision to leave the board? So I did decide to change my mind because I felt like it was more important for me to stay planted where I could do the most good and have the biggest impact. And that's with me keeping my board seat. So I've been an exemplary board member the last 4 years, and I believe my commitment to sign up for another 4 years, when being a board member is not easy. Clearly, you see that today by some of the comments that were made, but it shows my commitment to the district that I love so much. So I am appreciative to everybody's encouragement and support over the last 5 months, all of you that nicely pressured me to stay and to change my mind, and for any confusion or drama that my indecision or changing my mind made, I do apologize, but I'm glad that I changed my mind, and I'm looking forward to the next 4 years. So thank you.
Casey? Any other comments from the board? All right, kind of along the same lines, we do have a vacancy in District B. Mr. Blyer announced his resignation effective December 31st of 2024. By law, we have 30 days to find a replacement for Mr. Blyer's district. On January 8th, a notice went out in the paper asking for those who are interested to submit a letter of interest and a resume to Dora at her email, which is dorasosserman@elkhart.k12.in.us. You have it from January 8th to the 24th to submit that. So we've got roughly 10 more days. If anybody in the community is interested in filling this vacancy for this district, we will collect the letters of interest and resumes from those individuals. On the last day, it would be by 4 o'clock on Friday, January 24th. So make sure if you are interested to have your letter of interest into Dora by that time at 4 o'clock. At which on the 28th, which is our next scheduled board meeting, we will invite those who submitted a letter of interest and a resume to come to that board meeting and introduce themselves. They'll have a 3-minute introduction, introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about why they're interested in this position, and so we get to learn a little more about them. After the January 28th meeting, we will have an executive session of the board, and we will narrow the pool down to those who we would like to interview. Remember, we have only 30 days to make this selection. So the interviews will kind of have a quick turnaround. They'll take place the very next day, January 29th at 7 o'clock. We'll invite those interested candidates to come back for an interview. We will interview each one at an executive session. We will then discuss it and then have a special board meeting to appoint the next board member for District B, and they'll be immediately sworn in on the 29th and ready to go for the next day in our next board meeting, essentially 1st of February. So I encourage those who have any interest in doing this and a commitment to the district. Those who want to make a difference, this is a great opportunity for you to make that difference. Please submit your letter. It's not an easy position, but it's a very rewarding position because all those decisions that you make as a board member, have the child's interest and their students' interest in mind. And so, when you have that type of, decision-making drive, it pays. So I encourage those who haven't yet done that, please do that. You have time. You have 10 more days to get your letters in. One last thing, I want to welcome Eric Ivory, our newest board member. I look forward to serving with you on this board. I look forward to your skill set, your talents that you can bring to this board. I've known you for quite some time here. I know you are a person that is dedicated. You will be dedicated. You are child first in your thinking. So I'm very excited to serve with you on this board going forward. So welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I look forward to working alongside of each one of you. So, but can you point to where individuals who are interested, where they can find where District B is from a map standpoint, so they know kind of if they live in a district or not?
Do we have a map on the website? We do? I'm seeing some heads shake yes.
Yeah, it's there.
Yes,
It's on our website?
and it breaks down the districts.
Okay. Thank you for the welcome. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for those who question whether or not they live in the district, you can email Dora. Again, it was Dora Sosserman, DSAUSERMAN at elkhart.k12.in.us. Or if you want to, Chris Anderson, the clerk of the courts, you could call there and give the address of where you reside to make sure you are in District B. That ultimately will be checked out, but if in doubt, those are some places you can go to find out. Anything else?